Hello and welcome to this fourth part of the series of conditions necessary for the successful working of a democracy. Before this, I have finished 3 other tutorial on this same topic, and the link to those tutorials you'll find in the description box below as well as on the I button on top. आप सबका स्वागत है। ये चौथा पार्ट है कंडीशंस नेसेसरी फॉर अ सक्सेसफुल वर्किंग ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी का। इसके पहले 3 पार्ट फिनिश कर दिए हैं, वो अपलोड भी कर दिए हैं और उनके लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स एज वेल एज आई बटन पर मिल जाएगा। तो फिर चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का ये चौथा पार्ट ऑन कंडीशंस नेसेसरी फॉर सक्सेसफुल वर्किंग ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी। सो वी हैव 13th point, and the 13th point says that the combination of popular rule with skilled administration. The 13th condition for necessary for successful working of democracy is combination of popular rule with skilled administration. Well, this means that the administrative machinery in a democracy must be prompt and smooth working. The future of democracy is dependent on the development of an efficient state apparatus which can harmonize popular control with expert government. The people will not care for a government which is inefficient and corrupt, and therefore, thus, people will be willing to vote for another form of a government which can give them efficient administration. Well, the 13th point revolves around the administration part of the democracy, and here we need to understand that the most important condition, in fact, for any successful working of a democracy is its administrative machinery. How far the administrative machineries are prompt to take certain decision, how far they work very smoothly and give the efficient way to the state, and therefore the future of democracies again depend on the development of an efficient state machinery. If democracy managed to provide an efficient state machinery to the people, if democracy managed to provide efficient way of working, then people will support such democracy. And if government, especially democratic government, fail to provide the efficient way of a functioning to the people, then people will not care about such government, and they will go for a new government, new form of a government wherein they would get all efficient and corruption free society. जब हम एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की बात करते हैं तो हमें ये समझना चाहिए कि कौन से भी डेमोक्रेसी में सबसे बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट जो स्तंभ रहता है वो है एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मशीनरी का। अगर डेमोक्रेसी को सक्सेसफुल बनना है तो उसकी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मशीनरी कैसी काम करती है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड है। अगर वो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मशीनरी अगर प्रॉम्प्ट है, बहुत क्विक है, फास्ट है और स्मूथ फंक्शनिंग है, लोगों के विचार, लोगों के जो इश्यूज़ है वो हैंडल करती है स्मूथली, तो लोग वैसी डेमोक्रेसी को बहुत सपोर्ट करेंगे। इसलिए जो आने वाला जो वक्त आएगा, मतलब फ्यूचर में जब डेमोक्रेसी के बारे में लिखा जाएगा तो उसमें ये भी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट लिखा जाए कि डेमोक्रेसी कितनी इफ़िशेंट है, जो सिस्टम है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव जो सिस्टम है वो कितना एफिशिएंट है लोगों के इश्यूज़ को हैंडल करने के लिए। अगर ये डेमोक्रेसी फेल कर जाती है, अगर डेमोक्रेसी लोगों को उनके इश्यूज़ इफ़ेक्टिवली सॉल्व नहीं करती है तो लोग इवेंचुअली ऐसी सरकार को फेंक देंगे, वो ऐसी गवर्नमेंट को फेंक देंगे जो इनएफिशिएंट है, जो सिर्फ करप्शन पे अपना काम चलाती है, और लोग दूसरी सरकार को पावर में लाएंगे वहाँ पर जहाँ पर उनको एफिशिएंट सिस्टम मिले, स्मूथ सिस्टम मिले और प्रॉम्प्ट सिस्टम मिल जाएगी. सो दिस इज़ द 13th पॉइंट much important necessary for a working of successful democracy, and that is combination of a popular rule with skilled administration. Moving on to point number 14, we have a democratic organization of political parties. Well, another necessary condition is the democratic organization of political parties. It cannot be denied that democracy can work only if there are political parties, but the parties must be organized in such a manner that the people have full say in the policy making decision of the government. Now we need to understand that any democracy cannot function without political parties. Political parties are the soul of the democracy. They are the most important player because these are the democratic parties which represent people's issues, which represent some ideologies, which represent some principles, and these principles, these ideologies are by and large supported by certain groups of people, and therefore we must understand that without parties we cannot have a democracy, and therefore people should have the full say in such political parties. People should have a say in policy making decision of the government. That means these political parties must be public oriented, must be for the welfare of the public oriented, and people by and large, the members who are following these political parties, they should have a power, they should have the full say at least in making of various policy decision for the government. And if such things happens, if people are involved into the running and organizing the political parties, that too a democratic parties based on a principle of equality, justice, fraternity, brotherhood and secularism, then obviously such political parties will play a very important role for making democracy a successful organization, a successful entity for the welfare of the people. जब हम पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ की बात करते हैं तो हमें ये भी समझना चाहिए कि जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ होती है वो डेमोक्रेटिक इन नेचर होनी चाहिए। मतलब उस पार्टी में, उन पार्टियों में लोगों का से होना चाहिए, लोगों की बात सुननी चाहिए। स्पेशली व्हेनेवर जब भी कोई पॉलिसी डिसीजन लेना होगा सरकार के लिए, स्टेट के लिए या फिर देश के लिए, लोगों के विचार हमेशा उस पार्टी ने सुनने चाहिए। देखो जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ रहती है वो हमेशा डेमोक्रेटिक इन नेचर होनी चाहिए। मतलब देयर हैज़ टू बी ट्रांसपेरेंसी, और जो उनके मेंबरान है, जो उनके कार्डर्स है, उनकी बात सुननी हमेशा चाहिए। पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ कैन नॉट बी रन बाय वन मैन और टू मैन, and such political party will be blind towards the issues what people are facing all around। और इसीलिए हमें समझना चाहिए कि democratic organization of political parties are very very important, क्योंकि without political parties we cannot have democracy। और इसीलिए democratic nature of political parties are very very important, and in fact most important condition for successful working of democracy। Moving on to point number 15, we have a democratic society। Well, democracy succeeds only in a democratic society. That's very fair enough to say. In a state where non-political association do not allow liberty, equality discussion, opposition and tolerance, democracy cannot function। According to Robert Dahl, democratic society is a social system that not only has a democratic political system but also a number of other sub-subjects that operate so as to contribute directly or indirectly to the strength of the democratic political process। And that is what Robert Dahl have rightly said, that for a successful of a democracy what we need is a democratic society। If your society is not a democratic in nature and you practice a democracy, then that democracy will not survive for a long time। And when we talk about democratic society, what does it exactly say? It says that if non-political association are not allowed to practice, are not allowed to function smoothly within the society, if they are not allowed their liberty, if they are not allowed to have a equality, if they are not allowed to have a discussion, and if the opposition especially and the tolerance, that democracy cannot function. Always we have to remember that beside democratic political parties in a democracy, there are other stakeholders in a society. There are a lot of people who are also playing an important role. There are also a lot of other institutions, especially NGOs. They plays a very very important role in the democratic society, especially the media. So there are a lot of other things which are very important to build a democratic society. You cannot have a autocratic society, you cannot have a dictatorial society, and then you expect to have a democracy. It is just not possible to have a democracy. In fact, the essence of democracy is the functioning of a non-political association, and their freedom and their liberty and their equality, and giving them enough space for a discussion, even to oppose certain principles of the political parties, even to tolerate the differences of opinion and differences of caste, color, creed, gender, and XYZ. And therefore, democratic society is a very important point which eventually will play a very important role for a successful working of democracy. जब हम डेमोक्रेसी की बात करते हैं, जब हम डेमोक्रेटिक सोसाइटी की बात करते हैं, तो हमें ये समझना चाहिए कि अगर कोई भी डेमोक्रेसी को अगर सक्सेसफुल होना है, तो उसके स्टेट में, उसके सोसाइटी में, उसके देश में जो नॉन पॉलिटिकल एसोसिएशंस रहते हैं, उनका फ्रीडम, उनका लिबर्टी, उनका इक्वालिटी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. उनको हम कितना स्पेस देते हैं वो बहुत मायने रखता है. अगर आप डेमोक्रेसी स्टेट हो और किसी अदर नॉन पॉलिटिकल एसोसिएशन को अगर आप बढ़ावा नहीं देते हो, तो आप डेमोक्रेसी नहीं रह सकते हैं. इसीलिए बहुत से इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं वो उस डेमोक्रेसी को बचाने में, उस डेमोक्रेसी को सक्सेसफुल होने में बहुत सपोर्ट करते हैं. जैसे कि वी हैव मीडिया, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वी हैव NGOs, we have workers association, we have people's union, we have a civil society. Now these are the institutions, these are the non-political association institution which are actually building up the process of democratization of a society, because these are the institutions which always take some issues at very grassroots level as well as sometime at national level, and their opinion therefore are very important. And therefore rightly Robert Dahl have said that democratic society is a social system that not only has a democratic political system but also a number of other subsystem, and therefore all these institutions are the other subsystem that operate as to contribute directly or indirectly to the system of democratic political process. और इसीलिए अगर डेमोक्रेसी को बचाना है, अगर डेमोक्रेसी को सक्सेसफुल बनाना है, तो हमारी सोसाइटी भी डेमोक्रेटिक होनी चाहिए, तभी डेमोक्रेसी आगे बढ़ेगी. Moving on to point number 16, we have written constitution. Well, the existence of the written constitution also helps the successful working of democracy. All authorities in the state have to function within the four corners of the constitution, and there is no scope for the exercise of arbitrary power. A democratic contribution provides for freedom of speech, assembly, association, and safeguard against arbitrary imprisonment. It provides for a fearless, impartial, and learned judiciary which upholds the rule of a law against arbitrary government. All individuals in the states are bound by the law, and this is very very important. In fact, the last point of this part of the tutorial, that if we need our democracy to achieve all the success, then what we need is a written constitution. Written constitution is one of the most important, because it helps you to achieve that success, because everything is written down systematically. All the powers, all the functions, who's supposed to do what, distribution of our powers, everything is written down very systematically in the written constitution. And if one follows the constitution, then obviously your democracy can work as a successful democracy in the world. And therefore we also need to understand that authorities have various functions to perform. They have all the functions and duties, and all these duties functions are systematically been written within the constitution. So if they follow the rules and regulation, if they function within the four walls of the constitution, then obviously democracy will have all the success. And therefore moving on, we also have to remember that democratic constitution provides all kinds of freedom to the people: freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, association. It safeguards against arbitrary imprisonment by the state. So these are the freedoms which democracy provides, which constitution provides, especially to all the people. And therefore constitution provides fearless, impartial and learned judiciary as well, because judiciary is very very important, because it is the last stand which will hold the rule of the law. And therefore all these things are written in the constitution, and if one follows the written constitution, what we have is all success, what we'll have is a peace in the society. और अंत में यही कहूँगा कि रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बहुत मायने रखता है, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में सब कुछ लिखा हुआ होता है। आपके रूल्स क्या है, आपके फंक्शंस क्या है, आपके ड्यूटीज़ क्या है, छोटी छोटी चीज़ों का ख्याल रखा गया है, इसमें सब कुछ लिखा है। और कोई भी सरकार अगर उस चार दीवारों में रहकर, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के दीवारों में रहकर अगर कोई काम करेगी तो हमेशा उसको सक्सेस ही मिलेगा। ये सिर्फ सरकार के लिए भी नहीं, क्योंकि उसके अलावा डेमोक्रेटिक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो है वो लोगों को बहुत से कुछ अदर फ्रीडम भी देती है, जैसे फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच है, असेंबली है, एसोसिएशंस हैं। और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आपको सेफ भी करती है अगेंस्ट द आर्बिट्ररी इम्प्रिजनमेंट ऑफ द स्टेट। और इसीलिए हमें ये समझना चाहिए कि रिटर्न कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बहुत बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ है फॉर द सक्सेसफुल वर्किंग ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी। अगर आपका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रिटर्न नहीं है तो दैट इज़ अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी ऑल टुगेदर, बिकॉज देर आर अदर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इन द वर्ल्ड, देर आर अदर कंट्रीज इन द वर्ल्ड, स्पेशली डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री हु डज नॉट हैव अ रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। लेकिन हमारे इंडिया में हमारा रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन उसको कहा जाता है। उसमें हर एक चीज़ को बहुत बारीकी से लिखा गया है और डिस्कस किया गया है, और इसीलिए कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो हमारा है वो बहुत बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है। ये ना कि सिर्फ आपको प्रोटेक्शन देगा, बट ऑल्सो इट अलाउज यू टू हैव अ फियरलेस, इम्पार्शियल एंड लर्नर जुडिशरी, क्योंकि जुडिशरी भी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट है डेमोक्रेसी का, क्योंकि यही अब हमारा लास्ट होप है एज फार एज रूल ऑफ द लॉ इज़ कंसर्न। सो these are the four other most important conditions necessary for the successful working of democracy. So please do let me know your comment in the comment box. So see you soon in the next tutorial. Till then, take care.